let's talk about something we all face. That huge gap between thinking about doing something and, well, actually doing it. Today, we're going to break down how to finally conquer that feeling of being stuck. And we'll be drawing on some fantastic ideas from Peter Hollins. All right, let's get right into it. So does this sound familiar? You've got a great idea, or maybe a task you know you need to do, but you just get stuck in this endless loop of thinking about it, planning it, trying to get it perfect, all without actually taking that first step. If you're nodding along right now, you are definitely in the right place. So what is really going on here? Well, first, we've got to figure out what's really holding us back. And more often than not, it comes down to this really powerful force called the paralysis of perfection. And the scientific name for this feeling? It's inertia. And listen, this isn't just about being lazy. It's a genuine state of rest that just keeps us glued in place. It's like this invisible wall between what you want to do and you actually doing it. And it's fueled by one single, really powerful idea. And that idea is this crushing pressure we put on ourselves to be perfect right from the get-go. You know, we imagine that our first attempt at playing the guitar has to sound like a professional concert, or that the very first draft of a report needs to be absolutely flawless. I mean, that kind of expectation is just incredibly intimidating, right? And here's the really ironic part. This desire for perfection, which feels like it should be a good thing, actually becomes the very thing that stops us from making any progress at all. It freezes us before we can even start. So, what's the fix? Well, it's a surprising one, but it's so powerful. You have to deliberately lower your standards. Now, I don't mean for the final product, but just for that very first tiny step. You have to give yourself permission to be imperfect, to be messy, just to get the ball rolling. And this idea leads us straight to the real engine of this whole process. It's a shift in thinking that shows us that action is what creates motivation, not the other way around. You know, we have this completely backward. Most of us sit around waiting for some lightning bolt of motivation to strike before we hit the gym or start writing or tackle that big project. But here's the truth. Psychologically, motivation isn't the cause of action, it's the result of it. And this motivation flywheel shows you exactly how it works. See, you start with one small, imperfect push. That's your tiny action. That little action creates a small, real result. When you see that result, you build a little spark of confidence. And that confidence is what creates real, sustainable motivation to take the next step. The flywheel starts to spin. So here's how you put this to work, like today. Forget about reading a whole book. Your new goal is to just read 2 pages. Don't commit to some huge hour-long workout. Nope, just put on your workout clothes and stretch for 5 minutes. The idea is to make the starting line so ridiculously easy to cross that inertia just doesn't even stand a chance. Okay, so you've gotten started. The flywheel is turning. How do you keep that momentum going? Well, this is where we have to totally rethink our relationship with another big word, risk. For most of us, risk is a scary word, right? It feels like a danger, something we should avoid. But if you want to grow, you have to reframe it. Risk isn't just a threat. It's the price of admission for learning, for progress, for actually achieving anything that matters. Just think about a toddler learning to walk. They can't do it without risking a fall. In fact, falling is a guaranteed part of the process. If they were too afraid to take that risk, they'd never even learn to stand, let alone run. And it's the exact same for us with anything new we try. And that's the bottom line. Sure, your comfort zone feels safe, it's cozy, there's no risk, but there's also zero growth. Real progress, real learning, all the good stuff, it all lives just on the other side of taking a smart, necessary risk. All right, so now we're taking action, we're embracing risk, and suddenly, things can get pretty busy. The next big challenge is how to stay focused. And the key here isn't about adding more to your plate, it's about subtraction. We all know what a to-do list is, but have you ever made a don't-do list? This is a total game changer. It's basically a list of rules you set for yourself to eliminate all the stuff that drains your energy. Simple things like, I don't check social media before 10 a.m., or I don't say yes to meetings that don't have a clear purpose. This just flips the whole idea of productivity on its head. It isn't about trying to cram more and more into your day. It's about being strategic and disciplined enough to carve out and protect your time and focus for the things that really, truly matter. And here's another great tool for that, the burner list. Imagine you're a chef in a busy kitchen. On your front burner, you have the 1 or 2 critical dishes that need all your attention right now. Everything else, yeah, it's important, but it's not urgent. That goes on the back burner. It can just simmer away. This simple trick stops you from multitasking and keeps your mind clear on the top priority. So, we've covered a lot here: breaking inertia, building real motivation, changing how we see risk, and focusing by subtracting. Now, let's pull all these threads together and figure out what really matters most. All right, let's recap the big strategies. First, and this is maybe the most important one, lower your standards for that first step. Just start messy. Second, always remember, action creates motivation, not the other way around. Third, start seeing risk as a requirement for growth. And finally, protect your focus with a don't-do list and the burner system. And that brings us to the final and, honestly, the only question that matters. This isn't just theory, it's about action. So forget about tomorrow or next week. What about today, right now? What is the one tiny, beautifully imperfect action you are going to take to get moving?